Welcome everybody to the new Flyfisher. I'm your host, Colin McEwen. In today's show, I'm at Slippery Winds Wilderness Lodge in northwestern Ontario. I'm really excited. It's the start of the day. We're going out for smallmouth bass, largemouth bass, northern pike, and even a shot at a muskie. I mean, this is real exciting fishing. Everyone's heading out, and I'm going to head out too. It's going to be a great show. Stay with us. Let him go back to live another day.
Away he goes. Great fish. Wow.
Oh, baby. Look at that fish.
Stop, wiggle,
On the way down. On today's show, I'm traveling to northwestern Ontario to visit Slippery Winds Wilderness Resort. Slippery Winds is located less than 40 miles from the US-Canada border. A short floatplane trip from Fort Frances, Ontario takes you to the lodge, which is located on a peninsula between Yoke Lake and Straw Lake. The lodge offers its guests the opportunity to angle for 6 species of sport fish, including both smallmouth and largemouth bass, lake trout, muskie, northern pike, and walleye. The lodge also has access to 6 separate lakes that have numerous species available for anglers, so you can always find waters to fish that you can call your own. Joining me today is lodge guide Tony. A veteran of the North, his knowledge of species and locations will help make my trip here an immense success. I've never met an angler who doesn't enjoy an encounter with smallmouth bass. Once you've caught a smallmouth on a fly rod or light tackle, then usually you're addicted to these wonderful fish. Often they can be readily caught. Unfortunately, there are also times when fishing for smallmouth bass can be very frustrating. One of those times is during the post-spawn. This is the time of the year I'm here at Slippery Winds. The bass finished spawning 2 or 3 weeks earlier and now are on a feeding binge trying to put on weight. But they're very moody and turn on and off quickly. So I have to adapt my presentation techniques to match their mood.
Oh, you got the other one.
Yep.
That's okay. Good job, Colin.
Ooh, not a big fish, but doing a really great job.
It's a start.
Yeah, it's his start. It's a very nice start. And I've got a woolly bugger on here with a weighted head. And what was recommended to me is to use a crayfish colored. So I used a sparkle leech. Well, that's actually a very thick, heavy fish. Really nice. We saw 2 bass. I casted the one and then I just threw another one over by a log and this guy came up. Wow, he's making the 6-weight work. Yeah, that's actually a nice fish. It's a very nice fish. Deceptive. Beautiful fish.
Nice healthy fish. I tend to find the bass here are very healthy and very stout. It's not uncommon to get 19 to 20 inch bass.
Thank you. Beautiful. It's important to fish exclusively for the post-spawn females and avoid putting pressure on some of the males that are still protecting nests. So I'll be fishing fallen timber, drop-offs, boulders, and other structure searching for the large female smallmouth that will still be fairly close to the spawning areas. Got him.
Told you.
That was pretty sweet. Why don't you back us up a bit and we'll get away from this reef.
Okay. I figured that fish would take it.
Good job. You called that right. So the water's so clear here. When we were backing out, we just worked in the cove a bit and he spotted the fish driving right beside the boat. He said, cast it out ahead of it. And I did. And let it sink down, Gave it a few twitches and this guy came up and hammered it. That's a nice fish too. Really making the 6-weight work. Nice and chunky. Just got him in the corner, the mouth. And put a fair amount of pressure on him, a 10-pound tippet on here. Put about 4 feet to a sink tip, and then I've got a weighted fly. All right, I think he's about ready now. Beautiful fish. Still got a few marks from spawning.
Yep. Yep.
He was just on the outside edge of this reef here. It's like we thought he would be. And away he goes, all right. Slippery Winds has 5 lakefront guest cabins that are fully modern. The cabins feature comfortable hotel-grade double beds, electric lights, propane heat, and even their own bathrooms with large shower stalls. These comfortable accommodations will make my stay here very relaxing. During the post-spawn period, smallmouth bass are usually in a neutral feeding mood. They switch on and off quickly. When you encounter this, you must slow down your fly and finesse your presentation to include small twitches. As this video of a popper in the surface film shows, the rubber legs continually move, which is a tantalizing offering for bass. It is almost irresistible. As an angler, we must avoid the temptation to quickly retrieve a fly. Remember, presentation can be more important than the selection of the fly. If you make it look like an easy meal, you'll have success.
You got her. Good for you. A nice fish. Nice,
That was cool.
nice fish. Good for you.
Yeah. Way out here, I just saw this fish cruising by. We were just backing into a new position. Well, that's a good sized fish. That was cool. And I was lucky. I threw down the fly and the fish turned to see what the noise was. And as it dropped down, I just watched and she inhaled it. Nice bass. This is great sight fishing. I mean, this is what I really love.
Yes,
I just coughed up a crayfish or something. Oh, it's dragonfly. It's chunks of dragonfly. He just ate a dragonfly. You see it there right beside the fly. See, look, there's another dragonfly he just coughed up.
Yep. 2
dragonflies, so we know what they're eating. You said there was a big hatch of them just recently.
Got to keep her up.
Yeah, got her up. All right. Beautiful fish.
Good job.
Well, that's a nice solid 3.5 pounder. Look at the tail though, boy.
Should we measure it?
Yeah, you can measure it if you want.
I'd say more like 19 and a half.
19 and a half, wow.
Yeah, it's touching, 19 and a half.
Sweet. All right, let's get that baby back in the water. It's revived. Oh, it's already revived, the way it goes. All right. Thank you. Keeping the rod tip down, tight to the fly, nice and slow, steady. And then when I get to the end, I always bring it up just to make sure. Sometimes I have follows. Some rocks there.
Yeah, see?
You called that one
on.
right. Facing into the wind, rock pile, point going in front of a bay. Oh, and it's a good fish too. I didn't see this guy like I've seen some of the others. But, oh, look, what did he spit up there?
I don't
minnow?
know, but he did spit up.
He spit something
Looks like a
up.
minnow.
It's a minnow.
Yeah, it's a minnow.
All right, oh, look at this guy. He's really putting up a good fight. Wow. That's another good fish. Really good fish. Oh. Oh, look at that.
Oh.
Tail dance. Right in the tongue.
One more. There we go.
All right. Whew. And if you look right down here on my left, you can see why the fish was there. It's facing into the wind. It's got the rock pile, so there's going to be crayfish. He can dart out quickly and strike at the minnows, whatever goes by. Nice fish. Look at that. That's a solid 17, 18-inch fish. Wow. They're all big.
Nice.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
One of the reasons I love smallmouth bass is the fight. A 2-pound smallmouth bass thinks he's 10 pounds and fights like a 2. Pound for pound, most anglers would agree a smallmouth bass is probably the hardest fighting freshwater fish you can have on the end of your line. That was perfect. Just over here you can see big fallen log, and he said put a cast at the end. I tossed it right at the end. The woolly bugger went down. I gave it 2 or 3 twitches and I went tight right away. This is how you get rewarded when you fish around structure. Oh, look at that. That's a solid 4-pounder. You think it's even bigger? What do you think?
It is a good fish, yeah. Very nice.
Oh yeah, look at that. That's a big fish. I gotta have a measurement. Beautiful. Nice. My day of smallmouth fishing at Slippery Winds was outstanding, but now is time to recharge and think about the next day. I had heard there was some excellent topwater largemouth bass action to be had, so I was already beginning to dream about the next day's fishing to come.
Oh!
Got him. Beautiful.
Fish on!
Whoever says largemouth don't fight well has never caught them on a 6-weight rod. Look at that. I've got a 10-pound test, and I've got it to an 8-foot leader. It's fairly stiff. Okay, got him out here. The key was getting it real tight to the timber. And that's what Tony kept telling me to do. Put closer and closer. It's cost me a few flies, but it's been worth it. Oh, that's sweet.
Nice fish.
Okay, right in the corner of the jaw. Well, that's the biggest one so far. That's beautiful. That's
Nice
a good
fish.
solid 16 inches, I'd say.
Yeah. That's a good fly.
Beautiful. Good job. In choosing my flies for this trip, I matched the lures that were the most successful at the lodge with the other guests. The first fly was an orange deer hair slider, and this mimicked the orange jerkbait. The same match was for a red and white slider, matching red and white jerkbaits. I matched a jointed minnow with a jointed deer hair streamer. Other standard flies for the bass are bullet head woolly buggers in a crayfish color and poppers. When fishing northern waters, red and white combinations are deadly, and as I found out, this color pattern was the one the largemouth wanted today. Yeah, how's that?
Right off the bat. Fish on!
And so what Tony, oh, let him go for that timber. What Tony and I figured out, we went over into the leeward side of the wind, and virtually caught nothing. All the fish we're catching are where the wind is blowing into these trees, and we got the worst conditions possible. It's an easterly wind, which really, as most anglers know, that is tough fishing, and it has been tough fishing. We've really had to experiment a lot to find the right combination to make this work. Oh, that's sweet. I can get him here.
Yeah, no, I can get him.
That's all right. You just have one more jump here.
Don't lose your fly.
I won't lose my fly. I got.
Nice fat bass.
Beautiful bass. He's right in the shallows. I mean, no, you're not going to learn the Bass Classic with a fish like that, but you can have a lot of fun with a popper catching fish like that every day. Wow. The largemouth bass were very fussy, and in order to have success, my flies had to land within 6 inches or less of the cover in order to elicit a surface strike. The fish at this time of the year won't move very far to eat, probably because they're still post-spawn and still recovering from the mating. Be sure to practice your accuracy casting before your trip. It will make dealing with brush and structure much easier. Today, the high winds were definitely a challenge for my casting and for Tony with bow control. However, he got me into position, and when I put the fly in the right spot, then magic happened.
There we go. I'll turn the boat.
Whoa.
Keep him under that timber.
And that was,
Can.
there was a great lesson learned there. I made, gotta get him away from it. Yeah, you can get him out.
I'm backing up.
Yeah.
Oh, he's a
I
strong
made
fish, huh?
3 casts there, and until I put it right against that brush, he didn't come up. You wouldn't move a foot to 2 feet to take this fly, but as soon as I put it right against the brush, he was obviously hanging right underneath it, he came up, took it. Amazing what just 6 inches to a foot can mean in terms of these largemouth bass. All right. Still got some red around the cheeks from spawning.
His lips are all chewed.
Yeah, their lips are all beat up. Yeah,
Yeah.
really nice. So you got to be really accurate with the casts, and I was having a lot of trouble with the wind, so it took 2 or 3 casts to put it right against the bush to work. All right, thanks, Tony.
You're welcome.
The next morning, I wanted to go for some pike, and Tony said he knew a few good spots. Some boulders over there, which is what I was looking for.
Well, they'll suck up to that for some warmth.
Oh, he just hammered it. All right. I think that's a good sized fish. Not sure. See in a second here. Oh, it looked better at a distance. Thought it was a big fish. Came up from the depths. So I think we've located some deep water weed beds. It's still early season. We're in the wind here a bit. Oh, for being a small fish, really fighting well. And this is where having a fighting butt, like I've got right here, even for some of these smaller fish that are really strong, you can just stick it in, give you some leverage. Just don't ever touch above the cork. Okay, do you think you're ready?
Easy, fella.
There you go.
The hand's slippery with...
So what's that, about 28 maybe, 26?
Yeah, close to 30.
Very nice. Good start. So what I'm doing right now is I'm casting to the windward side of a reef. It's coming off this island here, and we'd expect to find the pike facing into the wind. And we're just trying to find the pike. The weed beds aren't up yet, and we're hoping, we've caught some smaller ones up to about 30 inches, but we're looking for the ones that are facing up and are looking at ambush points around these reefs. Though I was fishing for pike, there are many muskie in the waters here. Catching a muskie on a fly is one of the greatest thrills for an angler. However, today was not to be my day. Sadly, this big girl was only interested in teasing us and would not bite, even though she followed my fly to the boat numerous times.
Ah,
There you go.
little guy. All right. It's a lot of fun to see the fly getting hailed like that.
Another 30-incher, huh?
Yeah. Same size.
Healthy looking fish.
Well, we've had a few great days here at Slippery Winds Lodge. Hope you enjoyed today's show. Learned a little bit about largemouth bass fishing in heavy cover, smallmouth bass fishing post-spawn, and about pike and muskie. For more information about this show and others in our series, go to our website, thenewflyfisher.com. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week.